Welcome to CIOTV, made possible by NIIT. And I'm talking here to Anil Nashier, and he has been part of the furniture of Leaseplan forever. He's been working there for, how long have you been working there?
Almost 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. And you started to join Leaseplan in India and did transformations there a long time ago, which we're now getting ready to do here in Europe, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah. So it's wonderful if you want to innovate, go to countries where they have no legacy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then start again.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about your background in India. I mean, what kind of education have you had?
I'm an engineer, electronics engineer, and then I did my MBA in IT and international business.
Everything in India?
Yeah, that was in India, and then I studied at London Business School for Advanced Corporate Finance.
Wow, your parents really paid for their education, right?
This one I did through Leaseplan. Actually, the London Business School was paid by Leaseplan when I was still working with Leaseplan.
What did your parents do, if I may ask?
My dad is a civil engineer, and my mom is a teacher, but she never worked.
Okay, but you come from an educational, inspired family.
Absolutely. Actually, the whole family is very driven by professional education. Yeah. So it's not like just doing arts or science. No, you need to be professionally educated.
In a country where people still work very, very hard, right?
Absolutely.
And they study very, very tough. Okay, so how did you end up, you were a consultant for a little bit, but then how did you end up at Leaseplan, and what were they doing in India at that time?
Well, Leaseplan actually started, or they wanted to start operations in 1999. I was the first employee of Leaseplan India.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So no legacy, legacy. No. Yeah, very good.
And at that time, I was with a consulting company, and we were looking around to actually set up my own company with one of my friend, where we were doing some work together. But in the meantime, I was called by this headhunter that there is a Dutch guy coming and there's a Dutch company coming, they're trying to set up, and you want to meet. I said, yeah, let's see.
Okay.
And that conversation was planned for, I think, 1.5 to 2 hours, and that lasted for 6 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just, we kept
that was with
talking.
The Dutch guys who wanted to start it, and you had something to say.
Yeah.
Okay. And how would you describe India in those days? I mean, it had been opening up about 10 years later than China. Was it already in full swing in 1999? I mean, was everything opening up?
Absolutely, and that was my background. So if I look at my consulting career, what we used to do was that build, operate, and hand over. So the team I was working in was in relation to the international companies.
Yeah.
Who are coming into the country, and then we would take a turnkey project to build their IT, operate it, and hand it over to them. So a typical project would last for a year or so, and then we move out. So Leaseplan, wanting to start operations, they wanted somebody to lead their IT.
And did they start? Did they finally end up starting, or did they find out? So they have also a lease. They have a lease car operation in India.
Yes, yeah, they're still there. They're still there.
How many cars do they have there?
I think now they're hitting around 15,000 cars there.
Okay, so it is an extremely small operation compared to the size of the country. But leasing cars is not a very popular concept, so they really have to work on that at the moment.
And I think that was the part of the challenge, that leasing was a concept selling.
Yeah.
It was not that you go to and then you say, oh, let's do lease. So that's why we started with more international companies there, who were leasing in some part of the world, and then that's how we started.
Now you're now director of IT transformation, and you report to the CIO office. What kind of transformation? Because there was no transformation because you started from scratch. What kind of things have you learned there that you're now trying to implement here?
Actually, in a typical way, when I was hired, I was supposed to use the same legacy system.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So originally, that was the plan.
Welcome to the Netherlands. Welcome to Leaseplan. Here, see our old crappy systems which have been there forever.
So I learned that system over a year. And once I learned it, and the first thing I remember, I said, in India, if we have to lease cars, we must offer chauffeur service. Because in India, this service was
Sorry,
never in.
IT cannot do. IT cannot do. Chauffeur service. That's what you're going to do now, actually, with autonomous driving vehicles. You're going to have chauffeur. You're going to have build support for that. So
Exactly.
really,
That's one. And second was that when I started building that service, it took me 3.5 months to code that. And I said, if that's the pace of change in this market, it's not going to work.
Okay.
So that's when I decided to do a full IT strategy.
And build from scratch.
Build from scratch. And that's when I brought in the ERP into the Leaseplan world. So that was the first ERP implementation.
Because you didn't want to build it from scratch, you said standard ERP system, we're going to adapt it. Which one was that? What kind of?
Those were JD Edwards, which became
JD
PeopleSoft.
Edwards.
So JD
Oracle.
Edwards, PeopleSoft, Now then became Oracle.
Oracle,
So
okay. So
while we were implementing, that time Oracle bought it. And that was the reason actually why we moved to SAP. Otherwise, we were declared pilot for the group, and we would have implemented JD Edwards or PeopleSoft for the rest of the group.
But they didn't want to do Oracle?
No, Oracle said that they were not supporting the product beyond 2012.
So you have been victim of all these mergers and acquisition stuff?
I would say so, because I still think that was the right size of the product for Leaseplan, because Leaseplan, we are 6,500, 7,000 people. And SAPs are the big, very big.
But what kind of transformation are you doing now?
See, the transformation now is three main areas. So one, what we said was that we are going to replace our almost 35 years old legacy with a wall-to-wall SAP platform.
Okay.
So
is that what you have done, or are you doing currently?
We are currently doing. So we started.
Exciting times.
It is. So we went live last year with the pilot, and down the next go live. So this year we spend more extending the template, because in my second sort of a journey on Leaseplan, we implemented SAP in our Australia operation. So I was leading from the corporate. So
Heiko, let's implement this far away. How much farther away can we do it in Australia?
So
very good.
So that's what we took as a starting point of the template for Europe. And now we have extended that template to deal with the business what we have to support in the European market.
How much does every country now take? Is it a 3-month thing? You go in, you basically convert, and 3 months later it runs on SAP?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Oh, that's going to start now. So next year, you might be nominated because you have then converted. Are you going to do one country at a time or 2 countries at a time? Or
what we start is first start with the first one to bed it down, then the second one, and then we go to countries.
But in a linear fashion, or are you going to do 2 countries at a time?
2 countries at a time after first 2. So do first 2 individually.
So how many years do you have? Because you have a bunch of countries.
But
so how long is it going to take?
But we are starting parallelly for US. So US program is already on. So US would be one instance. Then in Europe we will bring by end of or let's say summer of 2020 we would get top 15 markets, which is our 80% of our business.
Okay. So that's going to be a busy. That's going to be
very busy
years.
1.5
now,
years.
But nowadays, I mean, SAP is simple, right? You have a business analyst. You should make a template, and you do copy paste, and everything runs by itself, right?
That's actually right, but in our case, actually, it's one step further because we have adapted SAP. The core SAP for our Australian operations, and that solution has been running there for 8 years. 8 years.
Okay.
So we went live with that.
That transformation was not a very fast one, right? I mean, this was a slow transformation.
Because we did not want to roll it out till the new strategy came in 2016. So 2017. We started, what is the best asset in Leaseplan which we can exploit, and which we said,
and that was Australia. Hey, but then new owner, new management team,
new ambition,
new ambition, and that kind of stuff. And did that, and also the industry is changing to go to electric, autonomous. I mean, the industry is in the next 10 years will change more than the last 30 years.
And that's what if you heard Jasper saying, that we are reinventing the industry itself. It's not about Leaseplan. the traditional leasing or the fleet management company, you won't be surviving for many years, because that car as a a lease asset is underutilized. Looking at our challenges of the emissions and all that thing, if you do not deal with that before it start hitting you, you might be out of business.
Okay, but I mean, my vision of the future, we'll have 80% less cars, because now we park cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
The main business of cars is being parked 95% of the time.
I agree, completely agree.
So then we have autonomous cars, and they will start at 100,000, but they can drive much more than normal cars.
Yeah.
And then parking spots will start to disappear inside the city. So we have way less cars and have a huge amount of fleets.
Fantastic.
Will Leaseplan manage their fleet and not charge by the month by the car, but charge by kilometers that I use transportation with you?
We're doing that right now. So we are moving from leasing to, if you go to Leaseplan Netherlands, you will find click and drive. Subscribe and drive. So that's why I'm saying.
And what is it? Subscribe and drive for what? For a day or a week or a month? Or
our main aim is any car, anytime, anywhere. So we are not going to be a leasing company.
Okay,
that might
you're going to basically operating fleets.
Yes. So
and is that city based or is that country based, or what is your plan in that?
No, the model.
Totally different business.
Yeah, it's a different business model, and that's why I'm saying we are reinventing the leasing business itself. So traditionally, our clients were corporates, so Philips, Shells of the world.
Yeah.
Today, I don't know if you have noticed, we have a partnership with Uber.
Really?
Uber, yeah, because they want cars. So as you correctly said, these cars are going to run more. Somebody needs to maintain them, and that's what we do the best.
And now I understand why you say that when I started the business in India, I wanted chauffeured business. Yeah. And that's now the business, that business is now going to be rebuilt.
Angle. Yeah, absolutely.
Only without a human being. Yeah. Okay, when is your estimation that will be significant? In 10 years from now, where will we be?
We have actually two tangents. One is that we are going to move to all electric vehicles.
Yeah.
And then the second is that full subscription-based model. Actually, we are starting now, and our typical cycle is about 38 months. 38 months is a typical leasing. So by in let's say 38 to 40 months, we are expecting that our shift starts moving to the other side.
And it will be, so in about 4 years, it will be electric. It will be going to electric first.
By 2030, we have said we would have electric only.
Yeah. And then when is this autonomous going to kick in? When do you think it's going to be good enough?
I think what I heard from Tesla is that they are talking about next year only.
Yeah, but I mean, well, yeah. That was Elon time. Elon time, I have a Tesla. I'm waiting still for my updates, and I've been having problems, promises, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
I never want to basically drive without an autopilot, but I really am looking forward to the moment that it's going to be, that I can get out of the car, it will park itself or go to somebody else. It's more important that the car drives itself when I'm not in the car, and that it goes to somebody else, than when I'm in the car. When I'm in the car and it drives itself, that's nice, but it's much more for utilization rate. When it can drive itself to somebody else, that's really important.
We are betting big on that, because if I look at our strategy by 2016, our strategy was 2 million cars by 2020. So the growth of the company was assumed to be getting more cars.
Yeah.
So now, as I said, that with the new concept,
you need way less cars.
We would be actually reducing the car,
you can have with half the cars and do 4 times more kilometers. And the price per kilometer is going to be about 4 times less.
That's what is the target. That it must be a value for money.
You have an exciting future. So after 20 years, you're going back to your roots, chauffeurs services without a thing, and you're going to make IT possible. And how long are you going to stay with the company? I mean, you've been there forever.
Well, as I said, that this is something which I am very connected to personally.
Okay.
And I want to see this home. So hopefully I'm
Thank you very much. That's really exciting. We're going to see Leaseplan. We're going to follow them. And then he's going to be the nominated CIO of the year when that basically is going to happen. Chauffeured services without a driver and changing the business completely. This was CIOTV, made possible by NIIT. We'll see you next time.